with a dreamy, far-off look and our nose stuck in a book. Hello, internet friends, and welcome to my channel. My name is Teresa. I'm so happy you're here. We have some fun book videos, and we have some couple videos, and pretty much whatever I want to film. And we have a pretty awesome time here. If you'd like to subscribe, we have like 570 subscribers right now, which is so cool. Happy 2025! We have made it to 2025, which feels insane. We have a new microphone setup that I have had for years, and I repurposed it. It's the blue Yeti microphone that was big a while ago. I got this sweater at Costco. Isn't it cute? Okay. Boy, do we have a lot to get through today. Right now. So my goal for 2024 was to read 63 books. I didn't want to put... I'm going to get hot in this sweater. Whew. I didn't want to put too much pressure on myself because, you know, I'm chronically ill and I get migraines and just like lots of other stuff was happening and I didn't want to put too much pressure on myself. So I did 63. And then I think the middle of the year I upped it to 73. And then I was on my last 2 books of the year and I was going to be at 97. So I was like, I might as well just read 3 more and get to 100. So for 2024, I read 100 books. 100. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe I read 100. It was my most ever. 93 was my highest before. That was 2020. Because, you know. And I was like, so I read 100 books. And we're going to go through them. Yeah. So, yeah. I'm not sure how much I'm going to share on each book since it was 100 books. But I'll definitely share the rating, the author, you know, the important stuff. Okay, as I've said before, I do not have all the books with me because I have most of my books at my parents' house, and then I have just the amount that are here. So I'll just pop up a picture right here, and let's get started. Hopefully I don't overheat, because I can't drink my water. 5 minutes in and we've done nothing. Okay. I should get my water. Good plan. So grab your water or your tea and let's get started. Not me already tired at the intro. Come on, man. First book I started with for the year is the 2nd volume in Stefan's Diaries, Vampire Diaries, Bloodlust. This is by L.J. Smith, even though I think these are ghostwriters now. So that was the first book of the year. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. This follows Damon and Stefan and their lore like before, like when they were turned into a vampire and then their life before that, which I think is so cool. I think Twilight should totally do that. I thought that's what Midnight Sun was going to do, which I was kind of disappointed in because I love hearing like their actual like life before like the other books. So the first book I started with was that one. I'm not going to name the number of the books because that'd be tiring for me. Yeah, it's a short, quick lore book. If you really like Vampire Diaries, I'm sure you would enjoy it. Next, because I thought I might as well start this series that I've been wanting to start forever, A Court of Thorns and Roses, or Akutar. And I started with my friend Marissa, and we are buddy reading that series. And I gave that one a 5 out of 5 stars. It was my first time reading, not my first time reading a Sarah J. Maas book because I did read Wonder Woman by her. But I just had an awesome time. Loved that series. As you know, it's fae, fantasy, kind of YA / older YA, and then kind of adult. Anyway, next book I read was Things We Hid from the Light. Knock 'em Out, Book 2 by Lucy Score. This was amazing. I loved book 1, but book 2 just spoke to me on a deeper level because there was a disability character, and I just was like, okay, I really understand this. And it was a fun adult romance, like enemies to lovers stuff, and it was great. Next was number 2 in Akutar, which is A Court of Mist and Fury. I gave this 4.5 stars by Sarah J. Maas. I really enjoyed this one too. I'm just having a really fun time reading this series. If you want to just look up any of these books, look them up on Goodreads or Fable or Storygraph. But yeah, it was fun. I had a fun time. I'm just going to say that. Then I read The Kissing Booth by Beth Reekles. I loved this movie so much. I watched it in February the year before, and then I read the book, and I was obsessed with it. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. It's just super fun and super cute. It's about Elle, who's in high school, and she has a crush on her best friend's brother. And then there's a kissing booth. It's just super cute. Next on KU, or Kindle Unlimited, I read Sucked My Life, which is book 1 of the Sucking Dead series, and I gave this a 3.5 stars. It was a vampire book, and it was odd. The whole thing was odd, but I had it in its semi-enjoyable time. Those KU books are kind of hit or miss for me, and this one was really short. I think it's under 100 pages, so yeah. But then I read Adorkable, which was by Cookie O'Gorman, and this is a adorable, just so stinking adorable, I put, YA romance, and you should totally check it out. The cover is so beautiful. I have a beautiful edition. Next was Chase Me from Broken Beautiful by Tessa Bailey. I think this was one of my first Tessa Bailey books. I gave it a 4.5 stars. I had a super fun time. It's pretty much about this girl who makes money being like a singing songogram, and she goes and like performs. It's spicy and fun, and I just had a really fun time. Then I read a three book bind up of April, May, and June, and this is the Calendar Girls series. It's spicy adult romance. April, she's escort for a famous baseball player. May, she goes to Hawaii, and it's like Samoan culture, which was like really cool, and surfing. And then June, it's a rich guy. But those are fun. I did not know that she is actually a local author. When I went to a bookstore, they said she was in the local author section. So I thought that was pretty cool. Then for a buddy read, I read Mislaid in Parts Unknown by Sheann McGuire. This is with my friend Kelsey from Bookishly Nerdy on YouTube. We buddy read this series, and 5 stars. So good. Can't tell you much because it is the 9th book in the series. I read so many 5 stars, you guys. It was so fun. Next is By the Book, Meant to Be Book 2, by Jasmine Guillory, and this is as if it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Bo is Beauty, and Izzy is Belle. And Izzy was Bo is an author, and she is the editor, and she has to go and like help him finish his book because he needs to like finish his book he's been working on. It's fun, cute, adult romance. Then I jumped into Dork Diaries, number 2, Tales from a Not So Popular Party Girl. This is by Rachel Renee Russell, and this is a middle grade that just is mixed media and fun, and she's a dork, and cute little things happen, and nothing dramatic happens to the point where like people are dying like in some of the books. So it's just a fun palate cleanser after I get off like a hardcore fantasy or too much romance. Then I read Always Never Yours by Emily Wimberly and Austin Siegmund-Broca. They are actually married, and this is their love story on how they got together and then got married, and it's their cute love story. There's like Shakespeare and sonnets and like Shakespeare stuff like mixed in, which I've never really read Shakespeare, but I thought it was just a really cool addition, and yeah, it's super cute. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Then on Kindle Unlimited, I read Misapprehended, The Colon Train Twins by Miranda Elaine. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. It was fun, super spicy. Next, we have Quinn, The Nice Girls Naughty Book Club, number 1 by Lana Dash. And it was just super short and fun and spicy. Okay, we are getting to the end of February. I read the... Oh, so these next ones are for middle grade. March is coming up, so I actually read these middle grade books for middle grade March. So The Mystery at Lilac Lane, which is a Nancy Drew book by Carolyn Keene, 4.5 stars. I enjoyed that. The Sleepwalking Vampire, which is The Decoders, by Alba Arango. I actually got this at a local book fest. It was a fun book, surprisingly crazy story, and I gave that a 4 out of 5 stars. The Frog Princess by E.D. Baker. I gave that a 3.5 stars. That's just the Frog Princess story. One Wish by Michelle Harrison. This is also another series that I am buddy reading with Kelsey, and I give this a 4 out of 5 stars. It was the prequel to 13 Curses. Next was Haunted Memories, which is Sarah Normal, number 2, which I didn't read number 1, but you don't have to. It's middle grade. That's okay. By Phoebe Rivers. This was a super fun middle grade paranormal read. 4 out of 5 stars. The Jumbies by Tracy Batiste. And I give this one 4 out of 5 stars. This was really, really interesting. It had a very interesting folklore aspect to it. I finally finished the Descendants series, Escape of the Isle of the Lost Descendants Book 4, and I gave that 4.5 stars. I just had a fun time reading the Disney villains kid stories, and I sold my first 3. Well, I sold all 4 of them, which I realized I probably could ask for more now because they sold really fast. But it was so fun. Yeah. Next, I read a Emily Winsnap book. This is book 5 called Emily Winsnap in the Land of Midnight Sun. And this is half mermaid, half person. And I gave that a 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read this crazy book, which was by Lemony Snicket, which is the author of a series of fortunate events. Of course it's going to be crazy, right? It was like an autobiography, not autobiography, and there was pictures and then crossed out stuff and then written words and then scribbled over and all this very much maddening, maddening story pretty much. But I gave this a 3.5 stars. Not sure how much I really learned from it. I thought I would learn about Beatrice and the story within the story he has in the series of fortunate events, but it just was very confusing to me. So I'm going to give it to his cousin Madison, and she's going to read it. She likes Lemony Snicket, and I'll have to see what she thinks. Then on Kindle Unlimited, I read What Sam Knew, which is Patricia Fisher Adventure Mysteries by Steve Higgs. I give this a 4 out of 5 stars. This is a cute, mystery with a dog and a person, and I don't know. They're just cute. They're just cute. Then we jumped back into ACOTAR. We did A Court of Wings and Rune, book 3, and I gave this one a 4.5 stars. If you know, you know. Then I had picked up Archers, which is a book by Laura Hughes, but it's Laura Blaze Hughes is what her author name is. And she was telling me that this is just her one of her first books, and she's probably not very good. But I had a great time reading it. I gave it a 4.5 stars. I liked the whole story. So that was actually book 2 from Arrows. And yeah, I had a fun time. Okay, and then for a readathon, I think it was a magical readathon. I read these books. So Flight, which is book 2 in the Septimus Heap by Angie Sage. And this was a book that I had put down previously, and I was going to get rid of it thinking I'm just not going to enjoy this. But then I picked it up at the right time. I gave it a 4.5 stars, and I really, really enjoyed it. I tried to listen to it, if I listened to it very slow, and I also tried to read it along. And it was just super, it was great. I loved it. So I want the next one now. Next, we jumped into Crave, book 6 Cherish. This is by Tracy Wolf. This is a series I've talked about many times on my channel. Supernatural school, pretty much, but like all the supernaturals. It's crazy. There's twists and turns, and there's just so much going on. And I have a fun time. This one I gave a 4.5 stars. It could be pretty dark, though, so be warned. Oh my goodness. My least favorite book, I think ever, honestly. It's All Your Fault by Paul Rudnick. I picked up this book thinking it was going to be funny, because the back of it said it was funny, and you'll really enjoy it. And it was, first of all, it said nowhere in the whole book that there was cancer. And then in the middle of the book, there was a girl who had cancer, and it was like all centered around cancer. So that was annoying, because that's my trigger, and I can't read that, because I've had it. And then it was just so irresponsible. And like this good, she was actually Catholic. This good Catholic girl was like being taken to the dark side of like, she was supposed to like, okay. So her cousin's famous, and she was supposed to be like, keep her on the straight and narrow because she's a good Christian girl. And then instead, she was the one getting influenced by the cousin. And I just was like so annoyed with that. Because if you're going to be strong, hopefully you can hold your own and not get influenced. I don't think anyone should read it. Throw it away. That's a book that should be banned. Okay, and then I read back to Akutar, Sarah J. Maas, book 3.5, A Court of Frost and Starlight. 4.5 stars. I loved this book, especially during the winter time. I would probably reread it then because I thought it was just so good. I had fun. Then a Kindle Unlimited book. I read Death Comes in 3, an Addie Foster mystery by Kimberly O'Malley. 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed this cozy mystery book, and I've been enjoying that series. It's pretty much about how this girl keeps finding dead bodies, and she kind of has to figure out why. Next, I read book 3 in the Jacoby series, Ghostly Echoes by William Ritter. This is a series that my husband had got me when we went on a vacation a few years ago now, and I think I'm almost done with the last one he gave me, and it's been fun. It's Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Sherlock Holmes, so it's paranormal Sherlock Holmes pretty much. And I give that a 4 out of 5 stars. I did it again. I read a Colleen Hoover book. I loved it. I became obsessed with it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. That is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Oh my gosh. I am speechless. Yeah. Go into it blind. Don't read about it. Check warnings if you can't handle stuff. But yeah. And then I saw the movie with my friend. Oh, this movie was so good. And then all that stuff came out about the actors, and now I feel weird about it. But the movie was good. Then I read Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. This was a 4.5 stars. I was a little annoyed because the timeline was going back and forth, but I was able to follow, and I thought it was a cute story, pretty much about this woman who lives at a vacation lake house, and her story with this other guy, and it was a cute adult romance. Then I read The Accidental TV Star, number 2 by Emily Evans. This was a really fun read, and I really admired her name was Marissa's love for cooking, and it was just pretty much she became on a cooking TV show, and then the actor the guy that she was working for, and it was just fun. It reminded me of Young and Hungry, if you've seen that show. Then for 100 years, I've been trying to read Forgive My Fins by Tara Lynn Childs. I have 2 of her books on my shelf, and I've been planning to read them forever. I finally read them. I gave this first one, Forgive My Fins, 5 stars. Obsessed, mermaid story, just mermaid YA. It was so fun. Like, read it. It's just so fun. Next was, we are in May, and I read City Love by Susan Colasanti. 4.5 stars. Super fun time reading this book. Manhattan. Okay, so it's New York. So it's just a cute New York romance. And then I jumped back into Addie Foster Mystery Series, Book 2, Dying for a Change by Kimberly O'Malley. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. This was a Kindle Unlimited book, and it just had a fun time. We're learning a lot more about what's going on. Next, I picked up Poor Unfortunate Soul from Villains 3 by Serena Valentino. This is the books I have that when you open them, you see the actual face of the person. So I have a pretty cool editions of those, the hardbacks. And I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. It was a really great story about Vanessa. Next was Also Known As by Robin Benway. This is a spy book. And I also gave this 5 out of 5 stars. And this was another book that I have 2 of them that have been on my shelf for super long. So I was really proud to read that. Then I read Cinderella in Cleats by Carly Sims. This is 4 out of 5 stars. It was a sports romance in my mind, but it was just YA and pretty simple, but it's fun. Then I just had to jump back into my Suki Stackhouse series. I mean, how could I not? Those books, I can just like nom 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 like the whole time. I love them. So they're so fun. Dead as a Doornail, Book 5, 5 stars by Charlene Harris. Can't tell you anything that's happening other than she is someone who can read minds, and she's a waitress, and the vampires are in secret, and they become not in secret in this world, and she finds out she can't read vampire minds. So now, after all this time, she hasn't been able to, like, date anyone, because she can always hear the guy's mind, and now she's like, ooh, I can date people that are different creatures. So, yeah, it's fun. Oh, paranormal, romance, adult. Okay. Next, I jumped into a Megan Quinn book, and my husband had gotten me book 2 in Kane Brothers, and he didn't know it was book 2, which is totally fine, because it was at Target, but the book cover was so beautiful. I will bring it up here. That makes no sense, I will do that later. Anyway, I read A Not So Meet Cute by Megan Quinn. I gave this 4.5 stars. It was so cute. Oh my goodness. Okay. I loved it. So, yeah. I don't want to say much about it. I'll say there is a fake dating trope. And then I read Going the Distance by Beth Reekles. This is book 2 in the Kissing Booth series. Very fun time. Next, I read A Court of Vampire Queen by Katie Robert. I give this a 4.5 stars. We have Sacrifice, Heir, and Queen. This was an odd book for me. I loved the story. I loved the plot. There was way, 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 way too much smut. I ended up skipping those parts as I was reading. It just didn't interest me. And I still got the gist of the story, and I enjoyed it a lot. So it's odd because she's a very romance-centric author. So I thought, like, oh, that would be like a romance book. But it just was weird. It was odd for me. So, yeah. You could read it and just skip the parts. I just feel like I've had such a great 2024 reading. Like, so many books were amazing. Like, here's another one. Teardrop by Lauren Kate. So Lauren Kate wrote the Fallen series. Let's take a break and drink water. So Lauren Kate wrote the Fallen series, and that is Dark Angels. And I really enjoyed that book, those series, when I read it. I think I was like maybe 19 or 20. But I picked up Teardrop and Waterfall. It's on my 25. So I picked up those two at a used bookstore because they were gorgeous covers and I just could not pass them up. And I absolutely loved Teardrop. I loved every single thing about it. YA, paranormal. I don't even know what to say. Okay, here. Never Ever Cry. 17-year-old Eureka won't let anyone close enough to her to feel pain. After her mother was killed in a freak accident, the thing she used to hold on to has no meaning. She wants to escape, but what one thing holds her back. Ander, the boy who's everywhere she goes, whose turquoise eyes are like the ocean. I don't know. It was just so good. If you want like that fun YA back in the like Twilight times, girl meets supernatural boy or supernatural girl meets supernatural boy, whatever it is. Like, it was just so fun. I'm so excited to read book 2, honestly. Here's another one. Okay, I read The Bells by Danielle Clayton. I picked up Vampires Never Get Old, which was a short story vampire series that I got in a book subscription box when I wanted a vampire book subscription box. Right? Or did I just pick that up? Yeah. And I was like, oh, it has a skull on it, which I hate skulls, so I don't like seeing that. So I took off the pink cover, and now it doesn't have a skull. But one of the books in there was by Danielle Clayton. And I absolutely loved the short story. Can't remember what it was. And then I was like, oh my goodness, I have a book by her. It's The Bells. And I actually think I might have... Do I have both of her books? I do. Okay. I actually have The Bells and Everlasting Rose. So I actually need to read book 2 for that. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Okay, so story time. The Bells is they have like this god system that made beautiful, gorgeous, colorful people. And there's not very many of them, and they're called the Bells. And then everyone else is like muted colors and grays. And due to that, the Bells' job is to go to these people, mostly rich and royalty, and like change things about them. Like plastic surgery with magic, pretty much. But it's just such an empowering story that just makes you be thankful for the author and for the writing. Yeah, it was great. Another one I absolutely loved and I had been wanting to read for a good amount of time was Switched by Amanda Hocking. This is the Trail series, book 1. Obsessed, 5 out of 5 stars. Human Girl. I don't want to say what it is because I thought it was a nice surprise. Human Girl, and then something with supernatural and supernatural YA. It's just so good. Now I want to read like all of them, definitely all that series, and I have Frostfire and a few other ones that I really want to read by Amanda Hocking. Next on Kindle Unlimited, I read Thick Girls Take Chances, Peaches and Pole series. This was fun. The spice level was 4 out of 5 spices. Yeah, okay. Then I read Uglies by Scott Westerfield. This is book 1 in the series. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it. I almost feel like I need to reread it to get the gist of like more of it because some of it was confusing for me. But it's a dystopian YA. Then a author reached out to me, which was Faith Prince, and she wanted to know if I wanted to read any of her books, and they were on KU anyway, so I said as long as I can read them in my own time frame, and I did, and then I did a review, and it is Where Magic Begins, The Crow Sisters. This was super fun. I gave this a 4.5 stars. It was like sisters and magic and ancient magic and like crazy like stuff twisted into things, and it was so cool. Vampires, sibling rival, family secrets, transformation, forbidden love, light romance, and witches. It was super fun. Then I needed a short graphic novel for a readathon. So I picked I Survived the Attack of the Grizzlies 1967, a graphic novel by Lauren Terhis. I give that a 3 out of 5 stars. It was so odd. It was about an attack and how she ran. I don't know. Then I thought, might as well read more of the novellas in the Lux series so that I could really just say I finished the whole series. So I read Shadows, which is 0.5 by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I give this a 4 out of 5 stars. This is Hot Aliens, YA romance. Fantasy! Then for her short stories, and I think this was for a readathon, I read Eternal, More Love Stories with a Bite. The editor is PC Cast. Some of the writers are Rachel Kane, Claudia Gray, Nancy Holder, and Lily St. Crow. And I give that a 4 out of 5 stars. Next, I read, some other favorites, right? Yeah. Fins Are Forever, book 2 in the Fin series. I give that a 4.5 stars. This is a mermaid YA that follows Forgive My Fins. All right, now we're getting to August, and I read Things We Left Behind, Knock 'Em Out series, book 3. Gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. Adult romance, more enemies to lovers, and it was just a fun time. Then, because I loved the Vampire Diaries and Stefan's Diary so much, I jumped into book 3, The Craving by L.J. Smith. I gave that a 5 out of 5 stars. I was extremely happy because someone showed up in this one, and it was a surprise. Okay. Oh, this is where I just loved books after this. Next, I read The Goose Girl, The Books of Bayern by Shannon Hale. This was my first Shannon Hale book that was actually a novel and not like mixed media. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. It's the Goose Girl story, if you know it, but it was just really cute and heartfelt, and I enjoyed it a lot. Next, I read The Hollow by Jessica Verde. This was the Sleepy Hollow story, and I didn't really know much about it, so I learned so much, and I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars because I had so much fun, and this was another book that I had been staring at my shelf forever, and I just loved it. Now I want to read more of it. Then I jumped back into the Trill series, and I read book 2, which was Torn by Amanda Hawking, and I gave that 4.5 stars. And the YA supernatural fun time. Then I finished up a series, and I read Shannon Hale's A Wonderland of Full World. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. I was so confused with the Wonderland language. I don't know if it's because I'm dyslexic, but the Wonderland language made no sense to me. It's probably not supposed to make sense, but I just honestly couldn't follow. So yeah. Next, jumped into Definitely Dead, book 6 of Suki Stackhouse by Charlene Harris. Gave that a 4 out of 5 stars. Then I jumped into a KU book, which these were for readathon too. I'm Virtually Yours by Jennifer Bonnet, and I gave that a 4 out of 5 stars. It's pretty much about this woman who goes around and is a assistant. And for this guy, she was supposed to be a virtual assistant, but then he said, come to my area, so, you can be my assistant. So she did that, and there was a cute little romance with it. Okay, then I read The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. This is the book that I thought I was reading The Invisible Library to follow a prompt. So I pretty much read this book without needing to read it for the readathon, and I had to read a whole nother book, which is fine, but it was funny. But it was a good book. 4.5 stars. When it started talking about dark things and suicide stuff, I didn't want to be triggered, but then it went away from that really fast, so it was good. After my afterlife story. Then I finished the Lux series, book 5 by Jennifer L. Armentrout. 4.5 stars. That series was super fun for me, the aliens one, and government and craziness, and yeah, it was cool. Next, I picked up Born Wicked, the Cahill Witch series. I gave that a 4.5 stars. There was a lot of feminist, cool, I don't want to stay home and just be the housewife stuff, and then her like having to hide her witchness, and it was cool. I enjoyed it a lot. 4.5 stars. So to fit the prompt, I chose My Sister's Grave, and then I gave that a 4 to 5 stars. It was a book that I had picked up that by Robert Duganey. It was a book I'd picked up that just someone had given me free books, and I was like, I'll try some of these thrillers, and they're kind of cool. Next, for a fun lore book for the House of Night series by PC Cast and Kristen Cast, I picked up the Fledgling Handbook book 101. Fledgling Handbook 101. And this was just a fun lore book, and a lot of it was very interesting, and some of it's pretty dark. But it was interesting to hear the lore for sure. I gave that a 4 out of 5 stars. Next, for a paranormal romance, I picked up Forbidden, the Eratos Trilogy, Book 1 by Amy Miles. I really liked this book. Didn't know it was a book that I needed in my life, but I had a really fun time. We're in October now, and I jumped into Lemonade and the Love Potions, which was a KU book, and by Bella Falls. I give this a 4 out of 5 stars. Super cute, simple, short, cozy vibes, and spooky. Then I picked up, per my husband's recommendation, Tales from a Gas Station Volume 1 by Jack Townsend. This was also for a readathon. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. This was a bunch of like little short stories that were happening at this like end of the town gas station, and it was really interesting, all the crazy supernatural stuff that was happening. Next on KU, I picked up the Cozy Corner Bookstore Maple Grove No. 1 by Noah Walsh. I give that a 4 out of 5 stars. I just had a fun time reading that adorable kind of little romance. What a werewolf, what a werewolf. Next, I picked up What a Werewolf Wants, San Francisco Wolfpack No. 3 by Kristen Miller. This is an author I had met at a book fest, and then later I tried to contact her to get her other books because I really enjoyed the other ones, and I couldn't find her anywhere. So now I'm just listening to them on audio when I don't have them. But I loved this book. So the main character's sister is going to get married, but she doesn't know that she'll be marrying a werewolf. And then the main character is also falling for another werewolf. And yeah, it's fun. It's romance. Paranormal. Next we have Vampire Kisses by Ellen Schreiber. I give this 4.5 out of 5 stars. This was a gothic YA story where there's like kind of a creepy guy who lives on the corner of town in a creepy house, and could be a vampire, could be a not, and it was just fun. I actually picked up the graphic novel the other day without even knowing it. I looked at the author and I was like, oh my goodness, that is the same author. So it was kind of cool. I'm excited to read that. That's like the sequel. So yeah. Next, I picked up The First Mistake by Sandy Jones. This is supposed to be a thriller. Too confusing. 3.5 out of 5 stars. I liked the beginning, and then I got super confused. So yeah. Then I picked up Sadie by Courtney Summers. 4 out of 5 stars. This was supposed to be like a girl who goes missing. So that was thriller, I guess, or mystery. I picked up 0.5 Killjoy from A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I'm actually watching the show with my friend, but I did not like the book. But it was 0.5, so it was just like a random story, like a murder mystery dinner. Then on KU, I picked up How to Fall for Your New Boss, a Small Town Romance, and it really was a small town romance. 4 to 5 stars. It was cute. Next, with my friend Teresa, I picked up Caravel, and I gave that a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I might bump it up to a 5. I really, really loved that book, and we're going to read book 2 this year, / soon. Follows 2 sisters who have been writing to this legend for years, and finally they get invited to go to this caravel, which is like this on this island there's like this dark carnival kind of, and it's like we don't really know what's real and what's not real. And it was super fun to buddy read with a friend because we could be like, hey, like, is life even real? Are we actually sitting here? Like, we were so like messing with each other about how much like it made us question everything. And it's really, really good. And then someone dies and you're like, they're not dead. And maybe they are. You never know. So it's kind of crazy. Yeah. Next, I always have a fun time with this. Like, always. Morganville Vampires by Rachel Kane. Book 12. Black Dawn. I'm so high in that series right now. And I'm having such a fun time. 4 out of 5 stars. In November, I picked up The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by Victoria Schwab. Schwab. 5 out of 5 stars. Powerful, brilliant, all-consuming, emotional, contemplating life. Like, that book was so good. And so many people had told me to read it. So many people. But I was kind of waiting for the hype to die down because I didn't want to be, like, disappointed. But I loved it so much. If you want to read any of the books from my list, read that one. Especially being chronically ill and already feeling invisible because I have an invisible illness. Just the idea to have an actual invisible life, whereas like people, I don't want to give it away, so I don't know. Yeah, I had been waiting to read this book forever. Geekerella, the retelling of Cinderella with a Comic-Con nerdy twist. 5 out of 5 stars. Absolutely enjoyed every single aspect of that book. And I want to go to a Comic-Con so bad one day. Hopefully when I'm healthy again. And it was fun. Yeah. So I've been following Mackenzie Catron. Probably since just like this last 2024. She is someone who is disabled like me, and she has POTS, and I swear she probably I think she has vestibular migraine too because she wears the red glasses like I do. And I picked up this book, A Daughter of Trolls, at a used bookstore for like $5. And I got this exclusive Unplugged edition from the Unplugged box. And it's just gorgeous. Not to mention, I have the dust jacket too. I read this physically. I love this book so much. I felt so seen and heard. Main character's in a wheelchair due to her heart giving out if she walks too much, which is so real. And she carries around salt, which is what POTS people need. This book was so good. And I need you to read it. A Daughter of Trolls by Mackenzie Catron. Okay. That got emotional. Wow. I just kept having such good books. And I'm so happy that my reading year was just so fun. Next, I read Beautiful Disaster. 5 out of 5 stars. Crazy story. I have to continue that series. I should get the next book because that was so good. Kind of reminds me of After, honestly. It's YA? No, new adult romance by Jamie McGuire. Then I read a cute romance, So Not Meant to Be, Kane Brothers, Book 2, and this is by Megan Quinn, and this is the book that my husband had gotten me, and the cover was so beautiful, as you can see, and I gave that a 5 out of 5 stars. Okay, I'm running out of energy, but I'm getting to December, so I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do it. Yeah. Next, I read Never Fade, which is book 2 in the Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. We have supernatural kids are in like a concentration camp, kind of, and then they have to like be on the run pretty much. 4 out of 5 stars. Then I jumped into Pretty Little Liars by Sarah Shepard, book 12 in the series Burned. This was a total physical read because I don't have it on audio. And I had a fun time. 4 out of 5 stars. My favorite thing about that series is she always recaps what's going on so that you know what's going on when you're on the 12th book. Next, I jumped into Vampire Academy, book 1. This is my second time reading this book, but the first time I really didn't give it a chance. And this time I loved it. 4 out of 5 stars. Vampire Academy, we follow Lisa and Rose and Dimitri and crazy magic system that's super fun. YA Paranormal. And then on the 99 and 100th book, we have 99, Nefert's Curse, House of Night novella, book 3. I gave that a 5 out of 5 stars. That was crazy good. Nefert's story, who's the villain in House of Night, is insane. Her backstory is crazy good. It's YA, but it's older YA. House of Night is like, I think, 17 and up, honestly. Maybe 19, 20. And then the 100th book I read for 2024 is Altogether Dead, Suki Stackhouse, book 7. And I give this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Whew. We did it. We talked about all 100 books I have read in 2024. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Wow. Like, wow. I'm very tired. I can feel like I'm overtired right now. And I think I should thank you so much for sticking with me. And we have a pretty awesome time here. Join the fam. Join the subscribing. Be nice in the comments. Be kind to each other. Yeah. Honestly, I can't do it anymore. Oh my gosh. We made it through 100 books. Oh my goodness. What do we have in store for 2025? All right. Remember, you can find magic wherever you look. Sit back and relax. All you need is a book. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next videos.